Well, that was interesting. As I was sitting here and I went live, Facebook just said that there's something new where I get to allow viewers to do something. And it just flashed up, so I don't know what the heck I get to allow viewers to do. Let me see, tap to invite a viewer to be someplace. Oh, it's giving me all these different things. Facebook sends some updates. Okay. Go off of your live for one day and Facebook does all these updates. What the heck is up with that? It's Facebook. That's what's up with that. It's all Facebook. Facebook's always changing, right? It's going to make it a better experience for us. It's going to confuse us and take away the things that we want. That's what's going to happen. No. So I was just sitting here and all this stuff was just popping. I'm like, what the heck? I was going to do Conscious Coffee about 2 hours ago, but it's Sunday. It's Sunday, and I got wrapped up in a good conversation, and I actually didn't know what I was going to talk about until maybe 5 minutes ago. So I decided, hey, now I know what I'm going to talk about. And hey, like, there's people on. You guys are all awake with me on Sunday. Morning, Addison, Sandra. Hi, Art, and John. So I'm going to kind of just get into it really quick because my kids are awake. And they're probably going to come out here and, like, disrupt this live stream. So I'm just going to be like, there's my forewarning. Kids are probably going to disrupt the live stream because I hear them in the background. And they're trying to behave themselves so that Mom can do her live stream. Because I was like, no, I'm going to go out back. And it's misting out here. It's just this misty weather. And you can probably hear the birds chirping. It's really nice. It's nice, but it's just a little chilly. But 65. But there's just this chill. I feel like I'm sitting in San Luis Obispo in California, overlooking the cliffs or something, the ocean, with that misty fogginess coming in. At least that's my memory of San Luis Obispo, obviously. But yeah, so it's a beautiful morning, very fresh, very kind of heart-centered and everything. And as I was talking, having this conversation earlier, I was sharing stories, and yesterday co-taught a class called Seeing the Other Side, experiential journey into your sex, where we were really paralleling our sex to our life, and we were working through our small group of attendees with all this different stuff to show them how, different blockages, different things that are hindering you in your sex also shows up in your life. And it's really hard for us as human beings in today's society to realize how much things parallel, how much things really come together like that, because we want to put everything in these neat and tidy little boxes, and we would go, well, my sex life is in this box and it's neat and tidy, and my work life is in this box and it's neat and tidy, and then my I'm a parent, so my parenting is over here and my health is over here and I'm a daughter over here, and we just kind of keep everything very, very masculine energy is what we try to do, where we just kind of categorize it and put it up on a shelf, and we just go, and we only access that stuff when we want to. Well, that's the concept, right? So we think that we should do it like that nothing should change. Nothing should get interwoven. And especially not our sex, because for some reason we think that if we allow our sex, or if we put attention on our sex, and that we actually acknowledge that it is affecting all the other things in our life, there's almost like this, like it's going to distort things, or maybe there's our shame around it, our lack of understanding around it, our fear around our sex, something. But we feel that it kind of taints everything else. Tainting's not good, right? Like, it's like, oh, if I talk about my sex, and if I talk about the holdbacks, the hang-ups, the struggle that I have over here, that's not good. So I'm going to just focus on this good thing over here. Well, normally I would say don't focus in on the negative. Don't focus in on what is going on, because what we focus on persists, right? The challenge. With that said, you have to apply a certain amount of awareness and see where things are coming together and weaving in order to move through all the struggle, the challenges, the different things that you might be having. So this morning I was telling a story, and I was just talking about, like living in faith. Living in faith. And what a great topic for this, as I see, thought that this was going to be a sexy talk, right? Where I was going to tell you some sexy, hot story. I'm not going to tell you the sexy, hot story. So jump off if you were here for some pornographic, sexy story, because that's not happening. I'm going to tell you a story about faith. And it's definitely, since it's Sunday, kind of a good time, symbolic of the Sabbath day, I guess you could say. But I am, for the most part, a person that does a pretty good job of walking in faith, but I teeter all the time. I teeter all the time, where I go back and forth. Like, what is walking in faith? Well, walking in faith is completely living a life where you're not trying to control the outcome by your own means, by your own, forcing of something, where you're not like I'm going to make this happen, or I'm going to try to get this to happen. Now, walking in faith is completely hands off the steering wheel and just going and tapping in and being in alignment and acting from your core, from your soul, being soul led, having that, allowing divine intervention to come in and to actually listen to it and move on your path with that intervention, with that guidance, okay? And to trust, to fully trust, not just to say that you trust, but to fully trust that it's all going to work out, and it's all going to work out absolutely better than what you possibly could imagine. So I was thinking back to, like times in my life where I was really, truly struggling, really, really, truly struggling. And I was looking at times when I was really struggling financially, when I was really struggling with my business, when I was really struggling, like I went through a time frame in my marriage where we couldn't keep a house for longer than about a year to 18 months. And it was like we would come in strong and everything would be going great, and it was this new start and all this different stuff. And then everything would crash on us, and it would burn, and it would just die out. And it was like, for whatever reason, we would lose everything that we had built. Well, at that same point, it was like we would have this like little, what I didn't realize back then that I see now is that I was completely shut down in my sex with my husband. I didn't even want to be in the relationship. I was having duty sex. I was forcing it to I was like forcing myself to go down this path and to have this sex, even though I wasn't wanting to, because that's what I was supposed to do to keep a happy relationship, even though I wasn't happy. Okay. But I kept my relationship, made sure that my family didn't fall apart, made sure that I sort of kept a roof over my head, but not really, because it kept leaving, right? I was not walking in faith. I did not trust. As spiritual as I was at that point in my life, I was not really truly trusting the universe, trusting God, that things would just manifest for me and come about. Well, fast forward, and you get into, as I look at different things, I'm like, okay, well, here we go. Here's some areas that, like I went through some struggle, and then I went through some ease, and I went through some struggle, and then I went through some ease. And if I relate back and I look at my intimate relationship on any one of those, I can tell you 100% that what was going on in my sex was also manifesting in my actual life. Fast forward to last year. Last year, for any of you that have been following me, I went through massive transformation last year. I really had, like you could say, my feet knocked out right underneath me, where, I look back and I go, wow, was that ever a path of walking in faith? Because stuff just came to me with such ease and such abundance, and I didn't do anything different. Matter of fact, I probably did less than what I had done before, or what I'm currently doing. So I wasn't showing up as much. I wasn't advertising. I wasn't going and creating a bunch of new stuff. I couldn't. I physically couldn't. I emotionally couldn't. I had had my heart ripped out of me and crushed. I had been physically hurt to the point that I couldn't even, I was writing my articles with just this thumb. That's it. This was all I could write with, was this thumb right here, because I had these braces on my hands and a brace on my leg. I couldn't walk. It was horrible. It was horrible. It was definitely not good. But you know what I had? in the midst of all that, there was something inside of me that was birthed in that moment of pain, in that moment of trauma. And what was birthed was true faith. True faith. Like this, something inside of me said, you got this. You got this because you have faith. You got this because you are blessed. You are blessed. And I went from losing 2 beautiful relationships, losing all of this intimacy, this connection, to seeing this other side of what was really going on in my partner's world, losing my house, losing my car, and my business grew. My finances grew. My abundance grew. Because you know what happened? Was that I stepped in that moment and let go. I let go because I had no choice but to let go. I had everything that my capability of getting in there and doing the work, right? Everything that I needed to do, those daily things that I needed to do to make sure that my business grew, to make sure that my clients were taken care of, to do this, to do that. I physically could not do them. So I had to walk in faith because I had no choice. I had no choice but to either completely crumble and crash and lose everything, or to completely let go and have certainty that everything was going to just manifest the way it needed to. Which in turn, I turned around and manifested a brand new house in less than 3 days, a house that, like, if I had drawn it out on paper, this would have been it. But if you had asked me, I would have been like, no, there's no way I'm going to have like that happen overnight, right? So, and my car got taken away from me. My ex came and picked my car up and was like, no more car, so here I am, no car, no nothing. Not that I could drive at that point, but I still needed a car for when I could drive. And manifested a car like that, and the money just kept coming in. The money just kept coming in. And I looked at it in awe. I looked at it in awe and in gratitude. And I just was like, wow, 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 this is amazing. Well, guess what else was happening at the same time? Now, for any of you who also have been following me, you also know that I was in open relationships for the last almost decade of my life. And in that process, the year before, I had pulled people into my life, and I had got into a very light-hearted, free-flowing, spirited relationship that was very playful and connective. And at this point, I also allowed that relationship to birth itself even more, to open up and to be playful, because I even said, I need somebody in my life right now, because we weren't really serious. I need somebody in my life right now that is playful, that's kind of like, that's going to make my kids laugh, that's going to make me laugh, that's going to bring joy into the picture. I don't need serious. I don't need alarms right now. I don't need somebody that's going to be overly controlling or anything. I need that free-spirited, fun person, because I've had all this seriousness. I can't handle any more of that. So I opened up to play. I opened up to joy. I opened up to lightheartedness in my relationship, which came to be an intimate relationship, which also affected my sex. And guess what my sex was? Open, free-flowing, playful, connective, trusting. So there was no struggle. There was no struggle in my sex. I was having massive amounts of orgasms, beautiful, deep orgasms, great connection, all this different stuff. And my world was also flowing open and connected, and money and abundance was flowing. And it was all about letting go. It was all about not being attached to what I needed to have happen, but instead simply just going, I know that it's going to happen. I just know that it's going to happen. It just is. It just is. So I see the question come up on comments here. How? How did that happen? I'm guessing, John, that you're asking, like, how did I do that? Well, there's the answer. It was just letting go. I put down my need to control, because I couldn't control. everything that was normal there, all the normal things that I would do to try to control a situation, to try to make sure that things were taken care of, to try to get it right, to make sure that all my I's were dotted, my T's were crossed, everything was just lined up. Good morning, Jeff. Everything was just lined up. That I couldn't do that anymore. Because remember, all I had was this. This is it. This was my working finger. This is how I wrote articles back then. If you go back to like last May, end of last May, last June, you're going to look and you're going to say, if you see what I put out and the content that I put out, now go with it and go, wow, she did that with her thumb. Because that's what happened. I did it with my thumb. Because that's all I could do. And it was just about the faith. It was just about the letting go. It was just about not having the attachments. So let's look at another scenario here, okay? So there's a positive scenario, right? So that's the positive. Like, I was open in my sex, I was having orgasm, all this was going on, and here I was physically busted up and broken, but everything was just flowing and abundant and great. And it was like, $20,000 months, $25,000 months, a $36,000 month, 1 month. That was amazing, right? And just tons of clients coming in, great classes, workshops filling up, all this really great stuff. And I was working 4 hours a week, not really doing a whole lot of like content building because I couldn't. But I had faith that I wasn't aware that I had. Okay, faith that I wasn't aware that I had. Okay, now let me share a different story with you. Okay, here's a different story. Another story. So then there's this other time in my life. We could go back and we could look at everything there too. But there's other time in my life when I was doing all the content. All my digits working, mind working fine, clarity, car, house, all that stuff taken care of. Not a big deal, right? But I felt like I was struggling. I felt like I needed to make it happen. I felt like I had to have it happen. My life depended on it. I could barely even get a breath for myself because I needed to make it happen. Otherwise, my world was going to crash. I wasn't going to be able to provide for my children. I wasn't going to be able to provide for myself. I didn't want to rely on anybody else because relying on other people sometimes doesn't work out so great. Not to mention, I'm strong, I'm powerful, I'm creative. I got this shit going on. I can do this, right? So there I am in those shoes. Body's working, mind's working, but I feel a pull, a tug, a struggle inside myself. Feel this struggle. And no matter how hard I'm working, no matter how much I'm doing with my work, no matter how much this is, I could put out 10 articles a day, videos every, let's say 5 videos a day. Oh my God, this is like crazy talk. I can't even imagine doing that much. But, could put out 5 videos a day, could run massive advertisements, could do all this different stuff, and everything that would come to me would be a no. It'd be like, hey, here you go. This looks good. Like, I'm interested, but not now. I'm interested, but not now. Okay. So there's the work, right? So what's going on with my work life? What's going on with my abundance, my world picture as far as my home front goes, as far as my money goes, my clients goes? It's all struggling. It's all contracted. It's all down. It's painful. And let me tell you, this is a true story here. I'm not fibbing about any of this. Contracted. It's painful. Struggle. And it's like my clients I feel constriction around my clients. Like they're not fully opening up to me because they're dealing with the exact same issues that I was dealing with, okay? So it's like, there you go. So I'm getting faced with the constriction from my clients that I'm feeling inside myself. And I'm trying to help them through it all the while helping myself through it, because that's what us coaches do. We tend to we get parallel worlds going on where people are coming at us and showing us our crap, basically. There's like a 3 rule in the spiritual coaching process of like anytime we have 3 people come to us with similar problems, that's actually our soul going, hey, you need to pay attention. So there you go. Insider on spiritual coaching. which is soul coaching, right? So I had clients coming to me and they were financially struggling. They were struggling in their relationship. They were struggling with their integrity. They were struggling with their health. They were struggling. Struggling is the key here. They felt like they were struggling because they were constricted. Were they walking in faith? No. No, they were not walking in faith. No faith at all. They wanted to have faith. They had experienced faith before, but they weren't walking in faith. They hadn't had that breakthrough yet of accessing their faith again. They were trying to control the situation, much like I was trying to control the situation in my abundance, in my physical world. I was trying to make sure that, this was taken care of, that was taken care of, everything was taken care of on time, to the point there was no relaxed energy coming out of it. All right, so what was going on in my sex back then? What was going on in my sex in that moment was that here I was, great relationship, everything's connected, everything's wonderful, potential, like deep love going on, all this different stuff. But I was blocking. I wasn't trusting the masculine, wasn't trusting my partner fully. Not because of something that he had done, but because of my own wounding, because of my own fear, because of my own doubt, because of this, okay? All that different stuff there. Little did I know that I was doing it. So we would have really great sex, even gourmet, amazing sex, even like mind-blowing, like, oh, the heavens have opened up and I've touched the big toe of God sex. And you know what? Do you know what happened? My body, which would have responded in that state of faith and that state of openness, would have responded with that same, and then opened up even more into the receiving of the orgasm, of the energy, of the connection, of the love, of the this. My body in these moments when I was struggling, when I was constricted, little did you know, here's a little sexual note on us ladies, is that our cervix, so all you guys who are worried about if you're big enough or whatever, maybe this will help you. And I know I've done videos on this, and we talk about this all the time in different sexuality workshops that I'll do throughout the year. But our cervix will actually, so the average woman is 4 to 6 inches deep. All right. So from entry to cervix is 4 to 6 inches deep. Okay. So the average guy is 6-7 inches long. God had this figured out a little bit. Well, when a woman is really open to her partner, when she is in full trust to her partner, to life, to herself, her cervix can actually move back. It can actually double in length. So if a woman is typically 4 inches deep, she can actually double to 8 inches. If a woman is typically 6 inches deep, she can actually double to 11, 12 inches. So that's how we can accommodate different lovers and everything, but it's all based on trust. And in order for us to be open like that, that means that we have to be in a complete vulnerable state. We have to surrender all those yummy words that you guys want to hear from us, but we can say them all damn day long. But if we're not feeling it, then we're not going to be able to go there. And it's a two-sided thing. So we have to be in faith, in trust with ourselves. We have to be open to being open to our core, to our soul, but we also have to be able to trust our partner. And if there's wounding around, typical, and that, me, I'm going to talk heterosexual here. So if you're not in a heterosexual relationship, fill in the blanks, okay? Because I'm heterosexual. So if you are a woman, has to really truly trust her male partner. If we have wounding in the masculine, then we have to be able to work through that wounding with the masculine to be able to trust the masculine. Okay? So when we don't trust the masculine, for whatever the reason is, we're not going there right now, for whatever the reason is, we will shut down, we will constrict. Well, guess what happens with the cervix? The cervix then will not expand back to accommodate maybe a larger lover. Okay? So hopefully you got that. You want to know about it more? Well, that's part of coaching. That's part of a workshop. That's part of a training online. There's always something. We can go into depth on that another moment. So here, back to my story on faith and how sex, all right? So here I am struggling in my world. Struggle. And shut down. And I'm having this really great sex. Really, really great sex. And I'm completely loving it, and he's taking his time. It's 45 minutes of foreplay and kissing and touching and all the stuff that I love, that I absolutely love, igniting my body, and I was just really turned on, and no problem going on. Everything's working physically great, except for the fact that my trust my faith is not present. Little do I know. I feel like everything's turned on. I'm hot to try. You could say, like, I'm wanting it. But my body is actually constricted. My body is saying, hey, you're not walking in faith. You're not there. You're not surrendering to soul. You're not surrendering to faith. You're not surrendering to God, universe. You're not surrendering to life and just letting things move through you to receive fully. So what happens in the sex? Have this awesome sex, have a fantastic orgasm, like really the heavens open up, we touch the big toe of God, you get the picture, it's phenomenal, great, deep, connective, and I'm bleeding everywhere. I'm bleeding everywhere. Not my period. Nothing rough going on. No BDSM stuff going on. No accidents going on. He's not broken in any way. I'm bleeding everywhere. What is the culprit here? The culprit is that my body is so constricted, so locked down, so in fight mode, in terror, in constriction, and trying to control and trying to protect. It's armored up. And the cervix, remember, cervix 4 to 6 inches deep. Okay. Well, the cervix decided in this moment to give me a quick little lesson on faith and surrender and opening and receiving, and refused to move back to accommodate my larger than average partner. Okay? So what happens? Hits the cervix. A lot of blood flow there, a lot of turn on, a lot of that. Now, I'm in rapture, so I don't feel any pain from this. But my cervix, which is a muscle, which has a lot of blood vessels, which can bleed when it gets hit too hard, and typically would feel like a dagger hitting it if it got hit too hard. Don't experience this because I'm really, really thinking I'm open, really enjoying the moment. But then there's blood everywhere. Like blood gushing out. We're not talking like a little drop of blood. No, we're talking like gushing, bright red, like the color of my nails, blood. Okay? Surrender. Faith. Look at that. Here I am. I'm bleeding. I'm in pain now. I'm shut down. I've experienced a little bit of joy, a little bit of connection, a little bit of receiving. I think I'm doing great, but I wasn't really fully surrendered. Look at the parallel over here to my life. My abundance. I'm struggling. I'm not really surrendered. I'm not really, like receiving. I'm struggling. I'm forcing. I'm trying to control. What am I doing over here? I'm really wanting the orgasm. I'm really wanting the connection. I'm really wanting. I'm grabbing a hold of, holding on, and I'm not opening up. Not opening up physically, not opening up energetically, not opening up abundantly, not opening up. And why? Because of faith. And where is the faith falling down? And I speak this because I know that a lot of people, because I do hear this a lot from people right now, I think that our world is really, there's a lot of people that are just really struggling and they want for so much. And it's, I'm going to make this happen, or I'll take care of that when I get this done, or when I get that done. I've got to just make this happen. I'm going to just pound it out. I'm going to force it. I'm going to make it happen. I have to make it happen. Is this surrender? Is that surrender? It's not surrender. Is this faith? No, this is control. That's control. That's shutting down. That's clamping down. So I share this because I see a lot of that going on, and I always see a lot of that going on, but I don't think I've actually done a live stream with this directness to it and trying to share this story. But because of our workshop yesterday, I just went, I gotta share this. I gotta share this. I didn't have the opportunity to share this in our workshop yesterday, to get into this kind of depth and the parallel and share the intimacy there. But I know that we learn through story. And that's why I always share a story, is that because we learn through story, and we can have compassion, we can have empathy towards somebody else, and we go like, I feel that, or I've had this experience. And if I can get you to look at the parallel of your sex to your life, if you're feeling like you're struggling in your work, if you feel like you're struggling in your health, if you feel like you're trying to, no matter how hard you work, no matter how hard you're trying to get something to go, I want you to look at your sex. I want you to look at where you're actually shutting down. Where are you shutting down? Because your sex is going to be like that physical awareness and really put the spotlight on things. And you can play with your sex, because you can go, if I can open up over here, if I can open up here, if I can gain more play here, if I can get more openness over here, if I can get more connection over here, if I can receive more over here, well, the other side of the coin is just going to do the same thing. That's what it is. It's just going to do the same thing, because it's on both sides of your coin, okay? Your life and your sex are right there. They are working hand in hand, okay? They are all part of you. They're all part of our life. They're all part of our whole life picture. That's why at the end of the day, if you have a crappy sex life, and you don't have the connection, and you don't have the intimacy, and you're just getting your rocks off, maybe you might get that little release, but you don't really feel the depth, you don't really feel the connection. It's just like, you know, a drug addict. You can go in and you can get like that quick fix, but that quick fix is not going to carry you forever, right? You got to go back for more. You got to go back for more, because you got to get that, just keep it in that base. And that's what happens. We have so much fast food sex going on because we're just trying to get a little bit of sustenance. We're trying to get fed just a little bit. And what we don't realize is that we could have this beautiful, awesome meal if we just learned how to open up and surrender and stop trying to control everything. And in turn, what would happen would be we would have so much better of a life outside of just our sex, because it's absolutely impossible to have truly, in all honesty, I know a lot of people will be like, oh, I have a fantastic sex life, but I need help over here. Like, my life is falling apart over here, but my sex life is amazing. And I'm going to call bullshit on it. I'm going to call bullshit on it, because what you call phenomenal, what you call great, is probably like driving through McDonald's, and it's really not. It's just feeding you a little bit. And you think that because you're getting fed a little bit, that that's great. And you have no fucking clue as to how phenomenal the sex can actually be, how fantastic it can actually be out there. So you are accepting so little for your life, and you're thinking it's so great. And where it's actually showing up then is where your attention is in your real life. So maybe it's showing up in your work, maybe it's showing up in your home life, maybe it's showing up in your health, maybe it's showing up in all of those, but you think that your sex life is great. And I'll challenge you to actually go in there and actually tap in and see, are you always like just edgy? Are you always just horny? You just can't get enough? You never feel fulfilled? You never feel satisfied? You got to watch porn. You've got to use a vibrator. You've got to do, you've got to just do all these different things. You've got to like force it. How are you actually having your orgasms? Are you like just grabbing the biggest vibrator that you can get, and you're just, and you're making it happen, and you go, yay? That's not good. That's less than McDonald's. That's horrible. That's like dinging in a freaking trash can in the alley. It's not good. Not good. That's not the heavens opening up and touching the big toe of God. No. So, look at your world, at your life. Look at your sex. Realize that it all weaves together. It all weaves together. Realize that the more you try to constrict and control any piece of it, the more you try to constrict and control any piece of it, the more you're going to feel, oh, there you go, Asin just said ramen noodle sex. Yeah, it's like ramen noodle sex. You try to constrict and control any piece of it, what's going to end up happening is that you are going to end up losing in all these categories, okay? There's no subject in your life that isn't interwoven with all the subjects in your life. There is no such thing as we have this class and this class and this class. No, it's called your life, and it is all about your life. And if you really want to enjoy abundance and bliss and have everything just kind of pop in magical, Well, the magic happens in the faith. The magic happens in the let go. The magic happens in the detaching from trying to control it and the realizing that you've got to take your hands off the steering wheel and you've got to just breathe in. And the only place that you really need to put your focus is on the release. And I just know that I am enough. I just know that this is going to happen. I just know that, you know what? The universe does have my back, to put it in Gabby Bernstein's words. Anybody who wants to read a phenomenal book on just what I'm talking about here about faith would be Gabby Bernstein's book, The Universe Has Your Back. But that right there, I mean, it really does come down to that. And for anybody who is walking in faith, life is magical. It just tends to happen. And back to my story of like, it was just flowing. It was just flowing, right? Like last year, and I bring that up because I was at like the bottom in so many ways, the bottom of worse than what I could have ever experienced with everything. So it forced me to take my hands off the steering wheel. It forced me to take my hands off the steering wheel and just have faith because I couldn't control it. Where in other scenarios, I could control it. So I held on to the steering wheel and I did my damnedest to keep my car on the road. Except that's not what it's about. It's not what it's about. We're meant to fly. We're meant to catch the wind. We're meant to just open up and let life move through us. Life live through us. And we're meant to thrive. We're not meant to struggle. If you're struggling, if you're really just like feeling like you're pushing a boulder up a hill and you're meeting consistent resistance and you don't know why you're meeting that resistance, realize that it's an inside game and it probably comes back to your faith. It probably comes back to your flow, to your attachment. And the more we attach and try to, like really force something to happen, that's where that resistance comes in. Much like a woman who's not opening up to her partner and meeting that resistance. So even though we might desire to open up, even though we might really want it, it's not about our desire or our wanting. It's about our surrender. And you have to be able to surrender or else you're going to get hurt. That's the gist of it. Surrender or else you're going to get hurt. Oh no, that could have been the title of it, right? Surrender or else you're going to get hurt. But there you go. That's my little Sunday conscious coffee talk, awareness, and share from, kind of brought on from yesterday. I wish that we could have done that class for like 100 people because I think it would have been phenomenal. But small group was definitely beautiful. We will be doing other classes like that in the near future, Addison and I, so definitely look for that stuff. Local people, you're going to have the opportunity to experience that, seeing the other side, and stepping into how your sex and your life flows together beautifully. We're working on creating kind of like a monthly or every other month. Haven't really figured all the details out because it was just kind of like one that like, wow, this was great. So that is coming, and I'm probably putting Addison on the spot right now, but oh well, such is life. There I go, right? Free flying. I say announcements really quick. Primal Reboot is going on right now. I'm going to be dropping all the preliminary work, guys, tomorrow for you guys in the Facebook group coaching events. So if you have not signed up for Primal Reboot, if you're sitting on the fence, what the fuck are you sitting on the fence for? Like, come on, stop sitting on the fence about stuff. Wouldn't you like to actually be able to penetrate life the way God intended you to? Wouldn't you like to be able to actually really step into your life, feel that fierceness, feel that determination, have the confidence, have, the purpose, the passion, the play, attract the right vibing woman to you, right? Be able to just feel good about yourself and feel good about the masculine that you're bringing to the table. Stop asking so many questions and doubting yourself and going like that. Stop trying to control everything, but actually learn how to surrender in a masculine fashion, which is with purpose, by the way, purpose and presence, which is exactly what we're going to be going through. I encourage any of you, look in the comments section, click on the link for Primal Reboot if you are a man anywhere in the world, because this is a global class, guys. It is a global class. And this piece, designed it to really help the masculine tap in. I have a bunch of guys coming to me right now that are just really, really looking for this. So I would love to be I'm offering this to everybody who typically can't just make it to my office, can't do one-on-one coaching with me. That's why I offer online classes like this. It's going to be a 4-week intensive. And if you do have an inclination to work with me one-on-one, there is a VIP option on there where you get 2 coaching opportunities to work with me one-on-one for like a microscopic amount of what I normally charge for my one-on-one coaching. So that is the VIP option on there if you would like to step up your game just a little bit. And over the next 4 weeks, because this class does start on April 13th, but if you want to access all the bonus content that is coming out tomorrow and the next day and the preliminary stuff and get a good head start so that you can have your feet stable on the ground and be one of those leaders in the group, not just kind of like swing by the seat of your pants, oops, I kind of missed most of the class, I hope I get something out of it, dudes, then step in, sign up, click the link first, sign up, get your ass in class, get that preliminary work, reach out to me, let me know a little bit about you, and let's get you back to your roots. Okay, guys, as always, stop existing, start living. You can follow me at www.kendalwilliams.com, and I will catch you tomorrow with another Conscious Coffee. Bye, everybody.